Well, it's time to pull the carburetor apart, and I've been looking forward to this. I quite like carburetors. I've loosened a few of the screws, but I haven't looked inside yet, so this is just as exciting for me. I do quite like carburetors. Now, I did have to take this off before to have a look at the, we'll take the throttle cable out. Oops. And no gasket there. Normally you see like a little rubber gasket there, but there's just not one there, so I'll look in the parts book to see if there's meant to be one there. This looks normal enough. It's not being cut to make light or anything like that. Sometimes people cut them there just to make them a bit lighter sprung, but it's not being cut, so that's good. This here, that is nothing. That is just a guide for the. There goes the fuel inlet, and it just goes underneath here, and just as a guide to bring it over to that side and keep it under control. So I just take that out, just chuck it away and wash it. Again, makes it easy to scrub in there. It does go through. You can see the slide in there, but it really serves no function other than just to hold the cable. So then we've got the choke mechanism that. Basically, this hole here, when you pull so there's the choke normally off. That hole runs through to here, but the choke being down, it sort of blocked it off. And you can tell what's happening by the little brass balls on there. They've obviously drilled that at one stage through there, so that goes into a certain point. Then they blocked it up. If you look in there, you can see it's opposite. Can you see it opposite? Now let's take this out and have a look at this. It's got some, what did I see here? It's got some scratches. There we go. It's got some scratches. Not in a critical place, but it's certainly got some scratches. I'll come back to that. So, can you see with the light here? Maybe if I turn this on, might be a bit better. There you can see there, that hole goes all the way through there. So what happens is, air can go through here, but then it gets to here and it's blocked because the choke's not on. You push the choke on, that opens that up, and now because that air can get opened up, there's vacuum on here, it's sucking on here, and it draws fuel up from the bottom out that hole and just dumps it in there. It's crude, but it gets raw, neat fuel in there when it's cold, which is exactly what you want. This one here is for your oil injection. It just comes from your oil pump, goes to there, and then just goes straight to that spot there. Doesn't do no more than that, and just sort of bleeds off and trickles down the side here and sort of gets mixed with the fuel, and crude as anything. But anyway, that was the technology back then. So what we got here, we've got another line that's running across through here. That's the breather. So you got the breather here, comes up to here. We'll just take that off later on. Your breather comes up from just to the atmosphere, comes up. It runs along here. There's also one that runs down that way. That would go into the float chamber down the bottom. Obviously drilled up from that way, so they didn't need a bung on the top there. This one's drilled in for this one, so they didn't need a bung here. It's got a few other possibilities of things happening there that haven't even been used yet though. But they can drill in for this one. They could drill up from this way if they wanted to put like a power jet on there, but that's not being utilised. And then it drills up to here, and then it drills into here, which will then goes down into there, which is basically accesses this side of the float chamber, and this one here accesses this way. So if the bike's leaning over on one side, it can still get fresh air in there, replace any fuel, or sort of a bit of an angle, replace any fuel that's being used, and that can be on this side and replace any fuel that's being used. That's just what they do. So I'll take that choke off. I don't know exactly how that works up there. I'll have to work there. Oh yeah, there it is, it's all there. Okay, we'll take the choke off while we're here. I think that's a 12mm. But this one, and the choke's don't get, there we go. And out she comes. Now I wouldn't expect to see a lot of wear there to stop it from sealing off. There's an O-ring there maybe, so that just needs a bit of an whole lot needs a bit of a clean up. I'll check it, but I don't expect there to be any problems with that. It should be okay. Down there, if I turn the light on down there, that looks all nice and clean. This thing a bit more functioning. Let's have a look down there. Yeah, that's all clean. As you'd expect to be. It only sucks in air, and that's filtered air, so don't expect there to be any problems. But anyway, when I wash it, I will blow through there and all that to make sure it all works. So they'll have to be checked. Come over to this side. This one here. This one here is for the slide. It comes on the side here, and then pushed on here. So the more you screw it in, sort of pushes the slide up. The less you screw it out, the slide can come down. So that's just your idle adjustment there. Screw it in, slide goes up. Screw it out, the slide comes down. It's just minute, but it's enough. Now, where you can see problems with these, sometimes this can be slogged out because they've been playing with it too much. But you've got an O-ring here as a seal, but the last thing you want, that's quite hard. So I'll see if my little kit has a new one in it. I bought a kit, mainly bought it for the gasket for the bottom there, because they were nearly $20 in the kit. I think it's only $30. So it's got other bits and pieces in there, a lot of O-rings and stuff. So I'm replacing that. It is Chinese, so I don't really trust the jets to be accurate and stuff like that. But I think the jets should be okay in here. But anyway, I've got them if I need them. Now I can't take much more here. Here, let's have a look inside here. Now I'll just take this one out. Just be careful with these screws. When you crack them for the first time, really push hard and have two hands and it should go kick. And that should be how that comes out. A little bit dirty. Now, does this one move? Sometimes they move, which this one does, so I'll pop it out. Sometimes they don't, and if they don't, just leave them. This one comes out, it's just a press fit, and if they don't want to move, just don't worry about it. But this one was quite happy to move, and you don't want them too loose either, so I'll wash all those parts. It's nice to get it out because it's easy to clean underneath there and stuff like that. And nice to easy to get in there. Okay, so where are we up to now? Keep taking these bottom ones out. Okay, let's have a look what we've got in here. What we have in here is something that doesn't want to let go. Okay, it doesn't want to let go, so let's have a look. There might be a prizing point along here. None, 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 so there's no prizing point that I can see anywhere. So I'll continue the way I'm trying to do it. Cracked it. Okay, let's have a look. Here we go, come on, you can do it. I've ruined that gasket. You can see that gasket's trying to hold on there. We'll take it off just in case. If you didn't have another gasket, have a look, see where the majority of that is, and the majority is still staying up there. I would work my way along this way with a knife or some such. There we go. There we go. And gently slide that out. Now look at that. All that gum is the same sort of gum that was in the fuel tank. It's just basically fuel that's settled to the bottom and gone gummy. Now, these little, don't see these carburetors very often. They're just little caps that I presume come off. I'll have to check that later when no one's looking, because that's how the petrol rises and it comes up like that. But that gum all has to come out. That's gum. That nearly looks like rust in there. Yeah, it's rust, or something very similar to it. That's the breather. That just goes straight to that one. this does come off, and I'll take that off and I can clean in there nicer. These should come off, and while I just don't have the right tooling at the moment to get that off nicely, let's have a look. So I can get that off without hurting myself. Here we go. I did find it. Oh, I might just put that somewhere special. There we go, that comes off. And these are solid, there's no air inside there, so I don't have to worry about that leaking or anything like that. That's not worn, so that's all good. I'll pop that one off in a second. That all has to come out. That gum, no good in there. There's a hole. It's a little hole down the bottom there, right? Which goes into this tube here. Let's have a look, another look at that. Little hole down the bottom. You see that hole down the bottom? Because that's gum in there, I have to make sure that that's not sealed, blocked off. And that tube comes up, and that tube connects to this one here, and this one here. Oh, what is that one? I've forgotten. What is that one? I think that's the suction for the choke. That's where the choke mechanism gets its fuel from. So, yeah, that, by the way, that came off. If you was desperate, you could reuse that. That's where the choke gets its petrol from to do that choke mechanism. Yeah, I said that comes in. It's just a, there you go, it comes straight down here, but because it's got some holes, see that blocked off hole there? They could drill down this way, but not all the way through. Then they drilled this one for this direction, that would go to wherever this one comes. There you go, see there it is. That hole drills along to this one, and then they drill down to this way, and they connect that one. So that one goes from here, that's just brass pressed in there. No jet, just sucks neat fuel. Down, along here to here, up here, and then straight through into there. And with air coming from the carburetor mouth here, comes in, mixes the two together, and just comes out, and that's just how it makes the choking mechanism. So that's how the choke's done. This is a bit dirty in here, isn't it? Anyway, let's have a look at that. Have a look at the float. Now, this tab here, that tab right there, that's the one you press on to adjust to make sure the float levels are at the right height, because you can vary that by pressing on that. Now, I have to find out what the float levels for this one should be. Now, these should not be tight. They just sit in there. They should just come straight out. So, wash it up. You see, be gentle with it. Don't bend those if you don't have to. See, they do have a slight bend on them already. That's just the adjustments. It goes this way around, so just put a little T in there, Eric, otherwise you'll probably get it the wrong way around. Okay, that's that. Now, this one. This one here is where quite often I'd probably half expect to see a bit of problem with this one. What size is that? Too big. Take that off. That's just a spring. See a little spring there? That little spring is just to hold the seat in place. So the seat, when you have the carburetor like this, it doesn't want to come, carburetor upside down, doesn't want to come apart. Now there's also a little spring in there just to keep tension on it. But this is the business end of the gun right there. That can quite often, if it's old, gets a little ring around there. That little ring that it can get around there is where it seats into this. Where it seats into there. And that's when it starts leaking. So I really have a really close inspection of that. And make sure it's not leaking, make sure it's clean, it's got no gum, stuff like that on there. This will come out, the kit comes, does the kit come with a new seal there? There it is, comes with a whole new mechanism. I wouldn't necessarily trust it, but anyway, I've got it. What size is this? Right, I found the right size socket, so there we go. I know most of the new kit had like a white metal washer or a sealer. This one here has this sort of material, fibrous material. Anyway, that needs to be looked at and check that that seals well, because the last thing you want is that to be leaking. So, dirt quite often gets caught in there too, and it looks like there is a little bit of stuff in there, so I have to give that a really good clean. So just to get this off, here we go. That's not a sharp knife, that's not sharp at all, so I've not scratched that in any way. I guess I could reuse this if I had to. Check there's no dirt in there. The fuel from here normally comes straight down, or in this case it comes down. You see that blocked off hole? They've drilled in this way, and it comes out there on the side there and then goes into the float area. So just check that that's, so there's, see that sparkly stuff in there? I think there's a bit of dirt in there, so that needs to all be cleaned thoroughly. Now we're down to this one here, to the main jet. What have I got here? Now the main jet I think is 180. Check it. I can't see anything at the moment in this light. Now that needs a really good scrub, but be very careful when you scrub around that area, because that's where it's written, I think, or it could be up the side, they vary. Anyway, I've got plenty of jets. My whole big collection of jets, so I'll check where they're written on these ones. Okay, what have I got now? Emulsion tube. Anyway, let's keep going with this. No, I don't have a screwdriver the exact right size for that. I'll have to hunt around for that. So I'll get this out. Where do I feel there it is? This is the pilot jet. This is a small one. This is just for the mixture. They can be blocked. They can be blocked. Check that you can see through there. Not blocked at all, but it can be. Not blocked. Not blocked. Anyway, I'll wash it all up because it looks dirty. Should be a nice brass colour. Clean that all up. In here, that should be, you should be able to see straight through into the carburetor. There we go. See there? Straight through, but that's not the only way it goes. It also comes in here to feed it air, because the air comes in. Which one is it? It would be, yeah, we're not blocked that way. There we go, there's the drill hole. So I've drilled in this way, and air's coming in. I've got to follow these holes, see which way it goes, but basically air comes in from this area here. That one's blocked. That one's not even ever used. That one's blocked off. It used to be used, and that used to be used by this one. So this one is the adjustment for. Now this also has a washer here. Be careful of that. I think my kit has a new one. These can get slogged out if people are sort of too rough on them, or they move them too much. So you've got to be careful with that. But there's an O-ring there, so I'll give all that a good clean. Basically, it sucks air in. Obviously going to come from this one and go up to there, and then it goes through, follows this tube along here, and this tube probably from this hole was drilled straight through to there, which then allows the air to go into this one, which is, I just pulled the pilot jet out, and the pilot jet would then come out there, which is for low speed, and it just comes up through there, mixes and goes on. So by adjusting the air, if you screw it in, it gives it less air, which makes it richer. If you screw it out, it gives it more air, which makes it leaner. So you have, even though you have a jet number and size, which would be written on here or along the side there, that number and size is still variable by how you screw this. Now it's only a little range, but it is adjustable. You don't know about your altitude and all that sort of stuff, so clean all these passages up. That's more cleaning up to do. So let's have a look at this. Normally there'd be a washer. Yes, there is a washer. Dirty, but a washer. Nothing more to tell me there. Now, this is the emulsion tube, and the emulsion tube needs to come out. Let's have a look. Best way to get this out. There we go. It wasn't too hard. It moved, and there we go. It drops down at the bottom. Now, ooh, look at that wetness. oil gunk. Now these emulsion tubes vary. They vary. I would normally expect to see holes up the sides here, but not on this particular style. Air goes into there, and then it mixes with the neat fuel sucked. Remember the main jet went on here, which is a different sizes, so it depends on how much fuel it can suck. It goes up that tube, mixes with that air that goes into here, and then just gets sucked down the carburetor. So not much emulsion tubes, not much emulsion going on there. They're just pretty sucking neat fuel. It's very crude, but anyway, that's what it is. I'll clean that up. There is a new one of those in the kit, but I wouldn't expect emulsion tube to wear out too much. But where they can wear, because this slide, whoops, this way around, this slide goes inside there. This way around goes inside there. Can only go so far. They don't normally touch. They're just a bit like this. So as you, and that, see that poke down the bottom, it wouldn't normally poke out the bottom. So when you go whum, 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 it comes up. Now that's got a taper on there on the needle. Now normally that needle is not being used much at the bottom rev range, because that's got all the other ones I talked about, the pilot jets. It starts to come in effect and is quite effective through that range there, that tapering bit there. But by the time you get to, let's say that's the beginning, that's half, that's full throttle. By the time you get about a half throttle there, that tapering is not so effective, and by the time you get to full throttle, the tapering's got nothing. It's just sucking purely on the main jet. So each one of these systems has a range where it works at, and you just got to work with those ranges. So emulsion tube's dirty, needs a good clean up. And what else have I got on this carburetor? Nothing to change. Clean, wash, wash, wash. Nothing to change. Nothing can be done there. Nothing, and just get all that good of that dirt. Nothing to be done there. I've pulled all those out. Give that a really good scrub. There's the two breathers I talked about. One goes up round like this one. Sorry, and there's the plug for it. And the other one goes deep up along to the back there. So they are the two breathers. That lets the fuel in. That's the main jet. That's the pilot jet for the low speed system, and that is the choke. So thorough clean for all this, and it'll be ready to go back together. That's just the throttle body. You can't do much with that. But I will be washing it, and it will be blowing air through them. So that's that one. Clean that up. This one here, this has to be popped off like the other one. That comes up, and clean that thoroughly. Take this out here. Really clean. Don't touch that. You don't need to, and be careful you don't break it off. But that really needs to come out somehow. I've got to figure some way to soak that off. And now we're left with this here, which is the needle. And let's have a look at the needle, if this is the right size screwdriver or not. I don't even know what clip this is on. I think, don't know what the manual said. Generally it's clip 3. There we go. That was a bit gummy, that when I did. There you go. You can see why it's gummy. Now I've got to figure out if that is rust or gum. It's gum. Okay, fuel gum. That's alright. Rather fuel gum than corroded. They either go gummy or they go corroded, and corroded's horrible. And that's on the, let's have a look, get that close. If I can just touch my finger there. That's on the middle clip, which is about what they normally would be. If it's a minor adjustment here, and if you put that clip, the next one down, it makes the needle just a little bit higher. And a little bit higher would just make it richer through the, up to half throttle, just makes it a little bit more richer. If you put the clips up higher, pushes the needle in a little bit, just makes it a little bit leaner, a little bit less fuel. So it's once again, that main jet is adjustable by that needle clip. So that needs a big, look at that, just go up, clean it all up. Be careful with these, you lose them easily, but you just get those off by just giving a little tweak like that, and they come straight off. So don't bend it, check that it rolls round and all that sort of stuff. This here should be number 3, I think, no, 2.5. So that's just the cutaway angle here, the vario. Some have the cutaway up a little bit higher here, some have the cutaway a little bit lower. That cutaway angle there is more for the lower speed as well, because once you get to half throttle it's not effective anymore, and full throttle is just not effective at all. So That just needs cleaning up inside there, and then not too much else. So I've got myself a nice little container of parts that all needs cleaning up, and then I've got my little container of new parts, but I'm not going to use too many of the new parts if I can get away with it. Did I say where the emulsion tube can wear? The emulsion tube can wear, everything's wearing, if this sort of rattles around on there a lot, it can wear that hole a little bit bigger, which can upset the mixture, but that's just a matter of in the bright light, just checking to see how much wear there's on here to see if this is variation in colour, if there's any scuff marks and stuff like that, to see if that varies. But I don't think so at this stage. It looks like I'll reuse all that. I'd rather use original stuff, because the Makuni genuine stuff would be machined to much better tolerances what the new stuff is. I've had a look at this already. I want to get this up close. Yeah, now can you see the very edges of that? There's chattering. What I mean is, you know when you drill something and it chatters, it's just like rough chunks taken out there. Now that's just the chamfer, but if they got chattering on the chamfer, how clean is that hole? Like a slight variation. You know, they put things down, they never ever put anything down a jet, because it's just going to put little scratches there, and they're just going to really upset that mixture, and all of a sudden this jet might be rated at a flow of 280 or 180, whatever it is, but that just roughed it up slightly. All of a sudden you've just thrown that out. It could be 160, 150, it could be, or worse, up the other way. So it just throws them out. So you really be gentle with these jets, don't scratch them, and look after them. I just don't trust these Chinese ones, because that chattering on there really shouldn't be there. So I'm not going to trust any of this stuff. If I can get away with using the genuine stuff, I will. But I did buy it, because you cannot buy these anymore. And they're about 20 bucks, and the whole kit only costs you 30, and get all the O-rings and stuff like that, so it was worthwhile as far as that goes. Okay, that's about it for pulling the carby apart and having a look at it. Everything cleaned up nice. All I had to do was just soak all that with a little bit of petrol for a while, and the gum softened up, and just give it a bit of a scrub and it comes off. The slide all looks good, the needle there, couldn't see any real wear. Coming across here, the needle on the seat there, that sort of stops the seats well, so I couldn't see a problem. I'll replace all the O-rings, put it all back together. No doubt I have to rejet it after what I did to the motor, but apart from that I'm really happy.